court documents in the case of the people of the state of California versus David Anthony Burke revealed this entire situation is much worse than any of us ever thought. Now, I read through the 9-page preliminary brief, so you didn't have to. Let's get into it. So it all started on September 8th, 2025, with tow yard employees making a shocking and horrifying discovery. They opened a Tesla that had flies and a strong odor coming from it. Now, a lot of people were like, David probably wasn't even the last person to drive the car, all this stuff. Well, surveillance footage confirmed that David was, in fact, the last person to drive the vehicle before he left for his tour. Now, the car was parked 400 feet from his home when it was towed. So anyway, they popped the trunk and saw this black cadaver bag that was covered in insects. And when they opened it up, they discovered a severely decomposed head and torso. And in another bag, they found dismembered arms and legs. Celeste's pinky finger and ring finger had been cut off, and body identification was done using her dental records because of how badly her body was decomposed. Now, David met Celeste in 2022 when she was only 11 years old, and he began sexually assaulting her when she was 13 and he was 18. She was reported missing in April 2024, and when she was first reported missing, David said that he talked to her in February and claimed that he didn't know that she was a minor, and that was a lie, and a lie that he told multiple times. He even contradicted himself because he showed deputies a yearbook photo that he had of Celeste in his phone. So how do you have a yearbook photo of her, but then you claim that you don't know that she was a minor? Okay. Now, Celeste eventually returned home, and her parents took her cell phone as a consequence for running away. And despite knowing that she was only 13 years old, David drove to where Celeste lived and paid a middle school student in her class $1,000 to deliver her a phone so he could stay in contact with her. Grown man, by the way. Now, throughout 2024, Celeste spent summer weekends in David's home and traveled with him to Vegas, London, and Texas to meet his family. Yes, the same family that refused to testify. Okay. Now, messages between David and Celeste referenced sex, pregnancy, abortion, and the use of Plan B. And there were also multiple explicit photos of Celeste that corroborated the assault. Now, prosecutors say that it is likely that Celeste was murdered on April 23rd, 2025, and they know this by piecing a few things together, right? On April 22nd, 2025, David and Celeste had a really bad argument because Celeste was angry that David was sleeping with other women despite telling her that he wanted to be with her and build a life. She became upset and then threatened to expose him for being a predator. Keep in mind that David's first studio album was scheduled to be released on April 25th, 2025. Okay. He also had multiple product collabs at this time with brands like Crocs, Hollister, and Fortnite. So on the night of April 23rd, 2025, David sent an Uber to take Celeste from her house to his house. And it was a 90-minute ride, and the two of them stayed in constant communication. And this is where this man might have thought he was some sort of criminal mastermind because he premeditated everything, which was evident because despite Celeste being dropped off at his home at 10:10 p.m., he sent a message to her phone at 10:30 p.m. asking where she was. The fact of the matter is that by the time that he sent this text, Celeste was already dead. And the way he killed her and then tried to cover up her murder was horrible, gruesome.